Assam and Mizoram police personnel clashed violently on the disputed border on Monday. The incident once again has brought to light the ongoing decades-old dispute where both states are not willing to cede an inch. The blunders made by the Britishers in carving the borders and territories only to be compounded by the subsequent Congress government has given a fillip to the controversy. Assam and Mizoram share a boundary of 165 kilometers. However, it's the two notifications issued in 1875 and 1933 that form the bone of contention for the conflict. Hi and welcome. You're watching TFI English, the national and socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I am your host Piyush, and in this video I will explain the root cause of the conflict between Assam and Mizoram. So let's begin. 5 Assam police personnel were killed while 50 suffered injuries after a violent clash broke out between the Assam police and Mizoram police on Monday. The long-standing border dispute finds its root in the colonial past and to this day continues to haunt the integrity of the country in the northeast region. It all began in the British era when Mizoram used to be a district of Assam. The state of Mizoram, as we know it today, used to be called Lushai Hills. Essentially, the northeast comprised of the states of Assam, Manipur and Tripura, with the states of Meghalaya, Nagaland and Mizoram all being carved out of the Greater Assam during the later years. In 1875, a notification was issued that differentiated Lushai Hills from the plains of Kachar Hills. Similarly, in 1933, another notification was issued that demarcated a boundary between Lushai Hills and Manipur. This particular notification indicated that Manipur border began from the tri-point of Lushai Hills, Assam's Kachar district and Manipur. Mizoram, which became a union territory in 1972 and a full state in 1987, continues to claim that the boundary should be demarcated on the basis of the 1875 notification, which is derived from the Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation Act of 1873. It is significant to note that BEFR defined the inner line regulations, better known as inner line permit system. However, the Assam government follows the 1933 demarcation, and that is the point of conflict. Mizoram argues that the 1933 demarcation notification was issued without any consultation with the Mizo society. Based on the 1873 regulation, Mizoram claims 509 square miles or about 1318 square kilometer area of the inner land reserve forest notified 148 years ago. Meanwhile, Assam is not willing to give up any of its territories. The Britishers hurriedly demarcated the regions without taking much cognizance of the on-ground realities of various tribal groups. The Congress government followed a similar destructive modus operandi as ethnic boundaries were not given due importance and the states were crudely carved out of Assam. Mizoram continues to assert its claim over the territory by stating that a sizable population of ethnic Mizos reside in the Kachar Hills, suggesting that it is a part of Mizoram. One of the other reasons why frequent clashes have occurred on the border is the presence of different ethnicities. Groups mainly clash to suppress the minority ethnic groups. At times, two ethnic tribal identities clash in order to dominate the region. This issue has existed for decades and the previous governments did not make serious attempts to resolve it. A few days ago, Home Minister Amit Shah visited the Northeast to meet with the Chief Ministers and Chief Secretaries of the states which form the Northeastern Democratic Alliance and asked them to resolve the border issues. The act by Mizoram police was brutal and not acceptable under Indian law. Assam Chief Minister Hemant Biswa Sarma tweeted a video in which Mizoram police were seen celebrating the death of Assam police personnel. After killing 5 Assam police personnel and injuring many, this is how Mizoram police and goons are celebrating. Sad and horrific, tweeted Sarma. Before the events on Monday, skirmishes had occurred last year as well. In October 2020, a scuffle had ensued in the conflicted territory after a group of people from Mizoram's side of the border torched some huts made by residents of Assam's Lailapur village on the disputed portion of the border between the two states. The Union Home Ministry must resolve these issues in collaboration with both states by sitting them across the table. In the last 7 years, the NDA government has built more infrastructure in the area and solved much more complex issues than Congress could do in 7 decades. and now it is high time the border disputes are resolved once and for all.